guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kayla June, Caylbarb on social media. So this is literally my bare face. So when do you ever really see me bare faced? But anyway, so this is going to be a different kind of video. This is going to be a bravery type video. If you read the title, this is about my anxiety and my depression, and this is going to be a very personal and me opening up to you about my anxiety and my depression. I wrote a few things down in my journal just to talk about. I do have a lot of videos in mind for the bravery section of my channel, so I'm trying not to make this as long as anything, but I'm going to try and make it as short as possible. I did want to go over like the basics of like how it happened, when did it start, how does it make me feel type thing. I just hope these type of videos that I record for you guys help you understand that you're not alone, and hopefully it can inspire you to be more open about your anxiety, your depression, your mental illness, whatever you're going through in life, and that there are people that care and that there are resources that you can go to, which I will link down below in my description, that you can call, and just people that you can talk to for advice and literally just vent. Sometimes venting is like the best medicine, and sometimes it's not, but you know, sometimes venting to someone that you trust or someone that you know cares is worth so much, and it means so much. But so for this video, I'm just going to talk about me basically, and like what I went through and stuff like that. I'm not going to get in like super details because this video will be like 3 hours, and it'll probably be in like 3 parts. I'm also going to talk about personal thoughts and quotes that I write in my journal, or I have written in my journal, which aren't many. I'm going to do a separate video on questions that I've received from you guys about my anxiety and my depression. There's not many of those as of right now, so I'm not going to include that in this video. I'm going to try and see if I can get more feedback from you guys. And then I just wrote like questions for myself to talk in this video. So if you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you do like this video at the end, give it a thumbs up. So I'm just going to get right on started. So, also I'm going to be filming a self-love, self-care video for the bravery section, and I do have like a playlist where all my videos for like these types of topics will be in. So in case like, you know, you're just searching for them, I will have all that in there. I think I have my bullying video in there, and I have my how to be less ugly video, which is it's not tips on how to be less ugly. It's actually like, just watch it and let me know what you think about it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get on started. So first I'm going to just go through my little list, and if I look like I'm looking down a lot, it's just because I'm looking at this, and this is my Harry Potter journal. I have so many journals that I never actually finished the whole book, but like I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, so when I found this, I was just like, this is my new journal. But it's always good to have a journal. I'll explain that in like another video, but just like a tip, if you have like a lot of thoughts or feelings, like or if you find like quotes or like just things in your head, just write it down. For me, it feels better when I write things down. Like, I have a really bad memory, so like when I write things down, I can always go back and look at it, or I can, you know, reassure myself by like positive quotes that I have in here and stuff like that. So the first question that I have is, when did it start? I actually don't know. In my opinion, I think like anxiety is usually caused by like some sort of trauma. I know in school I learned that everybody goes through anxiety. There's like different levels of anxiety, and I'll talk about more in depth of that later on in another video. Trust me, I have so many videos, it's not even like in mind, it's not even funny. But basically what I learned was like everyone has like a slight, very acute amount of anxiety where it like motivates you and it like pushes you to do more, and it's just basically like, it's like the good type of anxiety. To me though, the anxiety that I go through, not like occasionally, I feel like it's more from like trauma, and I've gone through a few traumatic things in my life. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, poor me. I'm just being honest with you. And trust me, I know a lot of people go through a lot worse than I have. But at the same time, the stuff that I have gone through, which I'm not going to explain every single one because a lot of, like, some of this stuff is really, like, it's just bad. But anyway, so when I noticed I was getting really anxious was probably when I was a kid. And I have that on my list as well. Basically, it was because of my dad. He wasn't a parent that was there all the time, in the sense of he could have been there all the time, he just chose not to be. So I kind of, like, I remember some incidences where, like, I'd be waiting at the door with my bags packed, he'd be, you know, ready to pick me up on the weekend, and he wouldn't show up. And like, the next weekend I was supposed to go with him, I'd be anxious, like, is he going to come today? Is he not going to come today? Like, what am I doing? I'm sitting there as a child, literally waiting. And I know people are just like, how do you remember that when you're a kid? You know, you were so young. But I remember a lot of bad things from when I was a kid, especially when it's to do with my parents. So it's just like, some things are really vivid in my head, and I don't think they'll ever go away. As for the depression part, I don't necessarily know if I've always been depressed, because I was a pretty happy kid, but I started getting really depressed when I was in high school, which is also on my list. So I will talk about that later. What does it feel like I have? Crappy. It feels like for anxiety, I just feel I shake, I tense up. I get quiet sometimes, or I ramble. My heart starts to pound really hard. I feel like I'm, like, my body's overheating. It depends on which level, again, in another video, which I have, like, a chart where, like, I draw, like, each level of severity of where I am on, like, my anxious scale, or anxiety scale. But it all depends. Sometimes, like, that acute anxiety I was talking about, it's not really anything like knowing that I have a test coming up. I'm anxious because, like, oh my gosh, I need to finish that chapter. It pushes me to do better. So that's good. But then there's, like, situations where I've been diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. So basically, I am socially awkward. I don't like being in crowded places. I don't like being around a lot of people, especially people I don't know. Even if I go somewhere and I know one person, it still freaks me out, occasionally. I've gotten a lot better with it. I could never speak in front of people. I couldn't order my own food for the longest time, like, in restaurants. I couldn't call takeout. Like, if I wanted delivery, I couldn't call. I couldn't be the one to call. It would literally give me a panic attack. So these are examples of where I would get panic attacks. So the positive part of that, I actually did overcome a lot of that stuff, because one, in college, I did honors conferences. So I was forced to do presentations in front of 30 to 100 people. And then my fiance would make me call for delivery, which I actually willingly do now. I'm, like, in the beginning I was just like, please, like, begging him, like, please don't let me do this. And I think he didn't do it to torture me, obviously. I think he did it in the sense of making me face my fear. And honestly, now I do it myself. I'm just like, hello, I want delivery. So that's good. And then, like, in restaurants, I used to get really nervous to, like, order my own food. I know. I used to get really nervous to order my own food, or to even, like, speak out if I felt like it wasn't my place. But there is no placement for, like, if that makes any sense. But, like, now I'm fine. There are still some situations where I do get really anxious in social situations, like parties and events, and, like, I get anxious on the way to the event, and I'm a little bit anxious at the event. It's just, like, I have really, really bad, I don't want to say I have really bad people skills, because I don't really have bad people skills. I just don't really know how to communicate with people sometimes. Like, I don't know what, like, to spark up a conversation. Like, that's not me. Like, it's hard for me. Like, I don't know what to talk about. So then usually half the time I sit there quiet. So it's just like, and then sometimes it gets misconstrued as me being like disrespectful or not interested, or I'm just mean, and I have this look on my face, and it's not that. It's just I get so frazzled in that environment that I don't know how to react. As for depression, I completely shut down. When I am depressed, I shut. Like, everything shuts down. Like, my mother and I were talking about this the other day, and she was basically saying, like, when I get my depressive moods, basically, like, I'm a whole different person. I just don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be around anybody, and I mean anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to be by myself in a room, in my space, and that's it. I don't want to be left alone. Like, it's just, and to be honest, that's not necessarily something that's good, because I like to be alone sometimes, but I hate feeling lonely. And that's one of my quotes that I will read. I hate feeling lonely. Like, it hurts. It physically hurts me when I feel like I have no one. So it's just like, it's just a battle within myself. Some days I just want to be left alone. Some days I want to be left alone, but I want someone to save me, type thing. Like, it's confusing. It's confusing, and it's frustrating, and it's exhausting trying to figure yourself out. So how did it start? I kind of just talked about it. So the next thing is back to my parents. So I'm not going to get in full detail. I'm going to try and make this quick, because I already see that I'm at 12 minutes, and I thought I was at like 5. So this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy one, probably, but whatever. So my father, I'm going to call him Jack, and my mother, I'm going to call her Sarah. So both Jack and Sarah had me very young, and I was, basically, Sarah had a very traumatizing pregnancy, I'm going to say. And if you were watching this, Sarah, I am sorry, but I am not ashamed of my life and what happened in it. So anyway, I'm not going to get into details about that either, because that's not really my business per se. It's more my mother's. But she just had a very stressful, and I consider it traumatic, experience being pregnant with me. So it was just like bad from the get-go. My dad, Jack, was not supportive from the beginning. And eventually, when I was born, he wanted to be a dad for maybe 2 years. So basically, they split when I was 3, and my mom had full custody of me. And then my dad would see me pretty much every other weekend, or on the weekends. And like I said, he would show up sometimes, then he wouldn't. There was also a time where I think I was 12, and him and I got in this huge argument, and 12 or 13, I can't remember. He also, like, just really traumatized me in the sense that I always, like, even till this day, I always think that people are going to leave no matter what. So it's just like, why even build a relationship with someone when they're just going to leave no matter what? Because there has been like 6-7 years where he wasn't in my life. He didn't talk to me. He didn't see me. He didn't reach out to me. He didn't get in contact with me. Like, it was bad. And then there were times where he'd come back, and mind you, I'm 26, so like, he would come back and he would talk to me for 6 months and then disappear again, and then come back a few months later, same again. And it was just repetition. And if he was in trouble, he called me. If he was in a sticky situation, he called me. And it's just like, okay, well, he's my dad, so I got to be there for him. And it's just like, he always let me down in the end. And it was just really, it always made me wonder, why wasn't I good enough for my dad? Like, why didn't he love me for me? And it's just like, it's hard for, like, if you're watching this and you don't have both your parents, or like you're not close with either your parents, it's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to get through it, and you're going to be stronger from it. It's just like one of those things where you don't know as a child and a teenager, like, what's wrong with you. And I always, for years on years, I always thought, like, what's wrong with me? When it came to, like, my parents, when it came to, like, friends, when it came to relationships, I always thought it was my fault. I always think everything's my fault. And I still, to this day, I always think everything's my fault. Like, if a situation happens and it's, like, has nothing to do with me, I still, like, throw myself in there and I'm just like, well, what did I do? What, you know, is there anything I can do? And it has nothing to do with me. As for Sarah, so my mom had me full-time, basically, full custody, and my childhood was great. My childhood was fun. I do remember that. Her and I had a great time, but as I got older, with my mindset, we just weren't getting along, and I didn't want anything really, like, I don't know, like, I can't explain it. I just did not want to let her in, but also when I let her in, I felt like I was getting disappointed anyway because of certain situations. I couldn't trust anybody. I didn't trust her. It was just horrible. It was just a horrible situation. And, like, there are times where I do know she tried, but then there was a certain point in my life where I felt like she just stopped trying. And she was just like, and, like, obviously I still have a relationship with her. And it's just, I'm a very, like, by myself type of person. I only, like, go to and vent to certain people. Like, my grandmother is, like, everything. Vincent, everything. Like, those two can pretty much calm me down more than anybody on this earth, and I don't know what I'd do without them. My grandmother has gotten me through so much, and I'm not necessarily saying, like, again, like, I had a terrible life, but it was just really hard for me growing up not feeling like I had a strong, stable relationship with a parent. And again, I kind of apologize, but just being honest. And sometimes I feel like she feels that way about me too, which is understandable. Because our relationship was always rocky. Because we were just, like, we butt heads. Like, we look pretty similar, but our personalities are complete opposite, and sometimes opposites don't really attract. We're literally, our personalities are not the same at all. Like, we have this same, like, demeanor and manner, like the same, that, whatever, I don't even know the word or the term for it, but we don't have the same personality. I have my father's personality, like, in the sense of, like, he suffers from mental illness, and, like, he speaks his mind 100%, and it's just, like, he just doesn't care. Not saying I don't care, but, like, he doesn't care, like, what when he says something, what people will think about it, if that makes any sense. Which I haven't really aced that department yet, but I'm trying to get there. So another thing that I kind of, back to Sarah, was that I really resented her for was being sheltered. So I was really sheltered as a kid. I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to go see friends. I was punished a lot for, like, grades and, like, my attitude, typical teenage stuff. So, like, I really resented her for that. And I felt like she wanted to take everything away from me, and I just had nothing. And I would just sit in my room, and this is when, like, my depression really, really hit, and this was in high school. I also, in high school, did not fit in, and I tried so hard to. One year, I was, like, part of the popular group, whatever the heck. I was a cheerleader for 4 years. My mom wanted me to do that. I didn't like cheerleading. I liked cheering with those girls because those girls were great. But I didn't like cheerleading. I didn't like being forced into cheerleading. Like, I loved the dancing part. I loved my coach. I loved those girls. I think it wasn't the fact that I didn't like cheerleading. I think it was the fact that I didn't like being pressured or forced to do cheerleading. Like, I wanted to branch out and do things that I wanted to do in high school and figure myself out. Like, I really wanted to play volleyball, and it just wasn't in the cards for me, according to my family. And I'm really tall, so it would have worked out well. But I didn't fit in. And as the years gone by in high school, I just really just did not fit in. Like, I started being friends with everybody, anybody I could. Like, I was just really trying to be nice to everyone. And it was hard because, like, I knew I didn't fit in. Like, there were different groups. Like, everyone has their own clique in high school, and it was just, like, I didn't know where I meshed, basically. But I tried really hard. And that's when I started, like, forming relationships in high school, and those were a disaster. And I'm not talking about that on my channel because it's irrelevant and not worth talking about. But those relationships also traumatized me to the T. Yeah, and, like, mentally, physically, emotionally, like, you name it, like, they're bad. But anyway, also, I pretty much worry about everything, like, everything. It's gotten a little bit better in the last, like, week, but I worry about everything. I still have flashbacks and panic attacks all the time. Flashbacks occur usually if I'm watching, like, a movie, a TV show, if someone brings a conversation up, a certain topic that comes up, like, I have to physically leave because I will start freaking out and having a panic attack because I'll have a flashback and then it'll trigger the panic attack. I talked about feeling like everyone just leaves. I push people away. Even like Vincent, I push him away from time to time because it's hard to explain how I feel when I don't know how to put it in words. I'm good at writing it down and I'm good at drawing it out. I'm not good at expressing it through words. I don't know why. It's something I'm working on, and it's just really, really difficult. Also, I have been, I've seen a psychiatrist probably for like 2 years now. I've seen a therapist for probably 3 years now. I have been on medication, and it was a no. Like, I had nothing against medications. Obviously, I'm a nursing student, but I have tried. My psychiatrist, I had 3 different ones, not at the same time. It was just like they transferred out and I had to be switched. So they basically put me on a few medications, too close together, in a short amount of time. And it really screwed me up a little bit with the side effects, adverse effects, all that stuff. So I'd rather do it holistically and naturally, in my opinion, and try and work on it myself. I do see a therapist once a week. I still do. She is awesome. She gives me homework, and it's fun. It's because, like, I reevaluate myself. I also have been misdiagnosed. I'm not going to get into that because some people who may be watching this video may think I'm a lunatic, and I'm not. But I have been misdiagnosed before once. I've been diagnosed with depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and social anxiety disorder, which is funny because I have a YouTube channel and I'm putting my business out there to the world. But that's pretty much it. And just like with the depression, I told you before, like, I just completely shut down. I don't want to feel anymore. I just want to escape from everyone. That's basically just like what I feel. And then I have like a few personal thoughts and quotes. I'm at 24 minutes. That I want to tell you real quick. So the first one is, I don't think people understand how stressful it is to explain what's going on in my head when I don't even understand it. I feel scared and tired at the same time, which is very true. There was a good amount of time, possibly like 6 to 9 months, where I was scared and tired all the time, consistently. I fear failing, but I have no urge to get motivated and be productive. Not saying that is all the time, but it has happened. These are just like things that I write down. I want friends, I want people to care, but I'm scared to socialize. There are times I want to be alone, but I hate feeling lonely. Sometimes I feel everything at once, then I feel numb. That's actually very accurate. I push everyone away when I get sad. When I cry about one thing, I end up crying about everything that's messed up in my life. Depression is like feeling like you're drowning, except you can see everyone around you breathing. And depression happens whenever and wherever. 3 a.m., 3 p.m., when I'm with friends, when I'm with family, even halfway through a laugh. So those are just like a few things that I write down. There's probably more in here, but those are just like the main ones that I think really explain my anxiety and my depression for me. Also, if you are watching this and you do suffer from anxiety and depression or mental illness, again, I will link down and post resources down below. Remember, you can always, and I say this on my Instagram because a lot of you actually reach out to me through direct message, and a lot of you, talk to me, and some of you write comments on my photos saying like, you wish you were as pretty as me, which, please, like, that like literally breaks my heart. And like, I was watching someone before on live, and they were saying like, everyone hates me. And like, stuff like that, whether it's a joke or not, really makes me upset, because it's just like, these kids are so young, these young girls, these young boys are so young, and you shouldn't have that mentality. You should be living your life, and you should be having fun. You should be doing makeup because you love doing makeup. Don't ever think that you need to do something a certain way because other people say that you have to. And what I've realized is, I think it would be better for me personally if I just didn't care what people thought about me or what they have to say about me. And I think I'd be a lot genuinely happier. I care a lot about what other people think of me, or like if they critique me. Some days I don't, some days I'm just like, whatever. But then there are other times where I'm just like, oh my God, can you believe this? And I'm like telling Vince, like, who cares? Like, live your life, who cares? Just be happy. And he's absolutely right. So it's just, keep living your life the way you want to live your life. Just be healthy, make the right decision, do the right thing, go to school, finish school, get a degree, get a good education. I mean, like, just follow your heart as well. Like, if you're a high school student and you're in cheerleading and you wanted to play volleyball, sit down with your parents, have a conversation with them, be like, I don't want to do cheerleading, please let me do volleyball. Like, speak up for yourself, because you are not a doormat. And whether it's your parents, your friends, your family members, you are going to regret it 5 years, 10 years from now. Why didn't I play volleyball? Why did I let my mom convince me to do cheerleading when I didn't want to do cheerleading? Or my point is, just be yourself, because at the end of the day, you'll be happy with yourself knowing that you made the decision in your life. And if you make mistakes, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Your mom made mistakes, your dad made mistakes, I make mistakes, your grandmother makes mistakes. People make mistakes. It's fine. Also, reach out to these resources. Reach out to your high school counselor, your college counselor, if there is one. Reach out, seek a therapist, someone to talk to. Talk to your best friend, your sister, your brother. Talk to somebody that you trust. Talk to somebody that you feel safe with, because it will help. Get yourself a journal. Write stuff down. And I promise you, I will have many more videos about anxiety, depression, self-love, self-care, positive things to look like, taking a negative situation and make it, or a negative thought and turn it into a positive. Like, I'm going to have so much more content on this topic, I promise you. It hits me home, at home. I don't even know that phrase. Obviously, and it's just really important for me to express it to you, because I don't want any of you who watch my videos to feel like I'm just some goofy girl on YouTube. Like, there's a whole other side to me that a lot of people don't know, and I'm not afraid anymore to express it. I am open to talk about my anxiety and my depression, because I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed of it, and you shouldn't be either. I know that I've gone through a lot of stuff, but I've gotten through it, and if you're going through some stuff, you will get through it as well. And also, if you want to talk to me at all, I mean, some of you open up to me a little bit from time to time. You can comment me in the comment section down below. My information is all my bio on my Instagram. If you'd rather DM me on Instagram, feel free to. Everything is at Caylbarb. I'll have it down here somewhere. Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to, like, trust me, I will talk to you. I love talking to all of you. Any messages I get, no matter if they're positive, negative, whatever. If you just want to talk, vent, ask me questions, please contact me. You can. I have no problem reaching back out to you. Also, I do hope this video shows that, again, that you are not alone and that we all have similar qualities if you have mental illness, anxiety, depression, etc., etc. Also, if you do feel alone and you just need someone to talk to, again, you can reach out to me, reach out to a family member, a friend, any resource down below. Just don't feel embarrassed or ashamed of your anxiety or depression or any mental illness that you live with. Trust me, I know that it's all crazy up in here, and I say crazy because I can say crazy. It feels crazy to me. It's always like a roller coaster or a merry-go-round or like on like hyper speed. I feel like my head's always just spinning, so I completely understand, and sometimes it is difficult even for me to talk to somebody. Sometimes it's even difficult for me to talk to Vincent about things, and I don't know who else to go to. So it's just like, I understand, so please don't feel embarrassed or ashamed to talk about this. You be positive, and I'm trying to reassure you that it is okay to have a mental illness. It is okay. You will get through it. And what I was trying to say before my phone overheated, I know as a teenager, going through bullying and going through, tough times, like, adults kind of don't see it as, oh my god, you think that's a tough time? Like, I get that because I've heard that when I was a teenager, and I just want you to know that even though things feel like your life is just crumbling and like the world is just ending and your life is over, it is not over. Trust me when I tell you, it is not over. You have so many years and so many things to experience in life. Like, if I could talk to myself, my 26-year-old self could talk to my 14, 15, 16-year-old self, and it'd be like, your life may be hard now to you because you're so young, and my phone keeps overheating. But what I was saying, I'm trying to end this video. If I could go back, being 26 now and went through everything I've gone through, if I could go back and hug my 14, 15, 16-year-old self, I wish I could. It's just like that girl back then thought she was worthless and she wasn't enough and she was never going to make it in this life, like, in the sense of I didn't have a purpose. But now it's just like, when I look back, it's just like, it's sad to me because I wish I was strong back then, and back then I wasn't compared to now. So like looking back now and like seeing and remembering how I felt, I wish I could just go back and hug her and tell her that she was going to be okay. And that was 10 years ago. I've changed a lot in 10 years. And if you're watching this and you're 14, 15, 16, 20s, 30s, whatever, however old you are, no matter what you're going through, you are going to get through it, and you aren't alone, and you are worth it 100%. Life is too short to take for granted because you don't know what's going to happen the next day. Or keep your loved ones close and always appreciate them. Appreciate yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are worth it every morning if you have to, because you are. And my future father-in-law actually taught me that. He's the one that always taught me to look in the mirror every day and be like, you are worth it, and you are perfect just the way you are, and you are good enough. And like, when he gave me that advice, like, that really meant a lot, because I actually do it. And it's just, I have a really good support system. Do I still get judged every once in a while? Of course. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I think people expect me to be. But I'm definitely not. But yeah, I mean, and if I could go back or if I could just see my little like 6-year-old self waiting for my dad at the door. Like, I wish I could tell her that, like, one day you're gonna realize that, you know, you don't need him and it's not your fault. I don't know why I always get so upset when I talk about this. It is not your fault that he didn't want to be around. Sorry. So if you're a mother and, you know, you have a child and you're a single mom, reassure your child. Tell them, you know, that you love them and you'll always be there for them, and always be there for them because they're going to need you. Or, you know, if you're a single father, even, to be honest, if you're a single parent in general, because I know there are plenty of good fathers who are single dads, and it's just, your kid's going to need you. And it's important for them to grow up knowing that they had one really good parent that did everything for them. You're going to be their rock. But yeah, I wish I could go back and I could tell little 5-6-year-old me that I was going to be stronger, a lot stronger without my dad. And I would have saved myself a lot of years of waiting around. And when I mean a lot, I mean like 20 years of waiting around. Maybe like 19, 18 years of waiting around. But yeah, so sorry if I got like a little emotional. I tried to like be as positive and strong as I can. I always try and be strong for you guys, but it is difficult from time to time. Again, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbsy up. I will have this up as soon as possible. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel. I will definitely have more videos and more content like this, more helpful content in the sense where, like, you guys ask me questions and I answer them and I'm honest with you. Of course, I'm always going to be honest with you, no matter if it's a makeup product I don't like or I do like, or, you know, it's feelings and thoughts and anxiety and depression, mental illness, whatever it is. I'm always going to be honest with you guys no matter what, because that's just how I am. And sometimes it bites me in the butt, but it's okay. But anywho, my name is Kayla June, Caylbarb on social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and I will see you in the next video. I do hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped. Again, reach out to me if you have to or if you need to. I am always here. My phone's always with me. So if you want to reach out to me, please feel free. I will talk to you no matter what. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it. Bye, bears.